right, so welcome back, everyone. So protest by parents of the Mafeking Government Primary School in Mayaru. They say the school was closed about a month ago due to an electrical problem. Since then, they complained that very little has been done to fix the problem. With us this morning is President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Mr. Martin Lumpkin. Mr. Lumpkin, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Hopkinson. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and thank you for having me on your program this morning.
Of course, Mr. Lumpkin. Well, Mr. Lumpkin, what is the situation this morning? Has it remained the same way?
The information that I have gathered thus far, it is the same. Nothing has changed thus far. We are still seeking updates, so today we will continue further investigation into the situation at the Mafeking Government Primary School.
So if it is that the institution has been shut down for close to a month now, I'm just wondering, has there been alternative accommodation?
As far as we are aware, the ministry attempted to have the online engagement. In a case where the ministry does not foresee a long-term, and in this case, they do not foresee a long-term closure, they would seek to decant or have parts of the school at other schools or buildings that can accommodate. And so I know that the administration would have looked forward to having the situation resolved as quickly as possible so that the teachers, the students can reoccupy the building in a safe environment.
Do you know, Mr. Lumpkin, if there has been, since the protest, has there been any step by the Education Ministry to address the situation in a more timely manner?
We have not gotten such feedback, but I would imagine that the protest, the demonstration by the parents would have given the Ministry of Education that spotlight on the school. As you know, in Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes we require protest or demonstration in order to bring some of the issues to the forefront. And it's unfortunate that the parents had to take these steps in order, because we understand the frustration of the parents in having their children out for such a long period of time. Our teachers and all, they are frustrated. Our teachers, by and large, want to teach. They want to perform the duties to which they were employed and paid. And being at home or not having to do that will have frustrated them.
But when you do have incidents such as these, surely there is an impact on the education of the students.
Yes, and the learning loss. So we came out of the pandemic recently, the shutdown, and the ministry as well as TTUTA recognized the learning loss that occurred. And so the ministry is attempting to bridge that gap. However, when you have instances where schools are closed, that causes learning loss as well too, especially a month. We have roughly 5 weeks again for the term, and part of that term is the revision and the end of term tests. By and large, and I say this confidently, the majority of our educators, teachers, will attempt to bridge that learning loss, would attempt programs and even adjust the curriculum so that they can bridge that gap. Our curriculum is a spiral curriculum, and the topics or the areas that you would do previously impacts on the going forward. And so you can't just skip a part of your curriculum and go ahead as if nothing happens. And our teachers recognize that, but it places undue burden on them when this happens. And what will happen is that they'll take a time in order to bridge that gap.
Yeah. Mr. Lumpkin, it would seem that every few months we do speak about problems at schools. So the question is there need for greater monitoring of the school environment? I don't know, maybe some sort of team should be set up to monitor schools on a frequent basis in a timely manner to identify some of the infrastructural problems at schools before you have a situation where you have to shut down an institution?
Yes, there is the EFPPD. That's the division within the ministry that deals with repairs and upgrades and so. But by and large, the Ministry of Education relies on the principals at the schools in order to have issues dealt with. The majority of principals will send in the request or inform the ministry through what they call the ticket system. In the past, we've had some challenges with it. I can tell you personally, during the COVID period, I would have sent in tickets just before the SEA, and they were never responded to, and we would have follow-up. However, I know the Ministry of Education is attempting to improve, and there are instances of success. The point I want to also make is that our principals, our administrators, are not qualified in facilities management or even in project management. So this is an area I think we need to focus as well too. Principals are asked to do maintenance plans, and they would by and large try their best or get some help from outside. And these maintenance plans take into account the age of the building and the needs of the building as well too. In the case of Mafeking government, where there was an electricity problem, and we found out that the lines were sparking from coming in, and we would imagine that the school would have had an increased load of electricity due to the heat, and the administration would have attempted to have cooling systems, air conditions and so, but the school was not wired for that. And we're having that instance. Superior East Secondary, I've been getting complaints about TTUTA having to come and check the lines that go into the school and change the type of lines as well too. And these are the types of issues that our principals, by and large, would not have experience or knowledge about. And so it's probably time, as you said, to have a team that would be in the different districts that will lend support when it comes to infrastructure and preventative maintenance as well too.
Yeah. Mr. Lumpkin, if I can pull you in another direction just for a short while. Recently, the Education Minister would have spoken about the presence of drug addicts in the nation's schools. She also spoke about gang members in the nation's schools, and the Education Ministry and the minister at that time had promised to do something about this situation. Have you all noticed a change in the school environment? Are there still convulsions, if I can put it that way, of violence happening in the school environment? Have you seen a change at all?
We have not seen a significant change. There may be instances, and this is where I want to point out one of the shortcomings of this entire issue and the Ministry of Education. It appears to us that it is only being dealt with when it rears its head. There's no proactive measures being taken. So we recognize that gangs, drug pushers and so are seeing a lucrative area in the schools. Now we have legislation which speaks about peddling drugs. I can't remember the exact distance from a school. It is a crime to do that and punishable by law. We need to enforce that more. And seeing that we recognize that these miscreants are utilizing our schools, we need to put more measures in place in terms of that. But apart from what the schools can do, there is also the need to have other agencies intervene as well too. And so it is a holistic approach we have to take. We cannot be putting plasters on sores and hoping that that will help. We have to get to the root as well too. And so increase in security in schools, yes, would help. Increase in the instruments that would also, the monitoring patrols along the perimeter fences, because we understand that sometimes they throw it over the wall. So the students can get in and be checked and be free. But then they go to the extreme ends of the perimeter where it's not monitored, and the persons throw over the illicit stuff. Yes. And so there needs to be more monitoring. However, counseling, guidance, and those are the areas that we need some assistance and beefing up with, as well as looking at it holistically in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, and getting rid of gangs and drugs and so on in the community, because the school is a microcosm of the community and the nation as a whole.
Thank you. Mr. Lumpkin, as always, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much, Mr.
Bye for now. So we are going to another break. We do have this image for you. It's of the San Fernando Yacht Club. Coming back.
I want to learn to be